So I'm going to walk everyone through 3 real-world challenges that finance and travel managers face and how our Xtract SAP Concur helps solve them effortlessly. So as we see on the screen here, we have 3 users. First one will be David. David relies on SAP Concur Expense for reporting, but he suddenly noticed that his annual budget has been exceeded and he lacks critical answers as to why. So for David, we're going to be detecting how employee expense compliant issues evolve and how we can identify that. Next will be with Mia as a sustainability-focused travel manager who entrusts in SAP Concur for handling business travel expenses. Mia is just trying to validate that her company travel data is discovered and in which way are they taking trips throughout the year. And last but not least for Lisa, she regularly monitors travel expenses, but she has no visibility into the supplier spending patterns, especially hotel bookings. So that'd be validated for supplier cost management. So again, each scenario highlights a common pain point that these companies struggle with, and we're going to get into how we can enable better decision-making, not only with automation, as I stated earlier, but also with analytics. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this will be the Alteryx Designer. You can find our SAP Concur tool here under the SAP Concur extractor if you follow my mouse. You can drag and drop our component down to start extracting directly from SAP Concur. As Christophe stated earlier, the tool provides direct access to expense reports and detailed expense data. So on your screen here, you see 4 or 5 different container boxes. The first one that we're going to go through on the left-hand side represents the Concur Expense container. So this will represent the container that holds different Alteryx components, that extracts the data from SAP, aggregates it, and analyzes it with additional components that you see here. For the other boxes and containers, they essentially just use various Alteryx components just to validate our story, ensuring that the extracted data is structured, analyzed, as well as visualized effectively for meaningful insights as we get through it.
And Brian, if I may ask a question here, these boxes, the little boxes you see on the screen, these are standard Alteryx components that help with the data preparation.
Correct. Standard Alteryx components.
Once it's extracted from SAP Concur.
Correct. And you can utilize any of these standard components in any workflow that you build. Just for the sake of this demo, we're showcasing this one. So as we get into our first challenge for David, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. It's for detecting employee spend violations at an early stage. I apologize. So previously, David had to manually export, aggregate, and analyze data, which can be a very time-consuming, error-prone process. David needed a solution that would automate the oversight and provide immediate visibility into the spending violations. Specifically, David wanted to know which employees are consistently overspending beyond a specific threshold, $15,000 per quarterly limit, and he didn't have the visibility into that. So the problem is that the budget overruns and goes unnoticed. So with SAP Concur, it doesn't automatically track total spending per employee per quarter. And also the lack of visibility and manual effort, these financial teams must manually export, analyze the data, and that leads to increasing the risk of errors. Another thing that we tried to identify within not only identifying the violations at an early stage, it was unclear if the approval, return, or rejection process within these reporting we even had insights into it. So how could we validate what we are spending if or the spending patterns if we don't know if the approval status remains unclear? So that's some things that we just wanted to validate. So those are the problems that we're looking at. And in regards to the solution, as we jump into our browse component, again, as Christophe stated, a standard component, we can bring up a dashboard that validates all of this in real time. So with our solution, Xtract SAP Concur, it transforms this process. So now we have an automated insight. So the workflow aggregates and analyzes this expense data for us in real time. We can now have instant alerts on these violations. So as you can see here, any employee that exceeds that $15,000 quarterly limit is immediately flagged. As we can see here for the quarterly limit, looks like all of the employees have passed that threshold. So it's easily visible for us. In regards to the approval status and tracking, the finance teams now gain visibility into the status of each report and ensuring that if it's either returned or rejected, it's properly addressed. As we go into the approval status, we can then now see with any type of graphic or dashboard that you choose, we have 87% of our reports approved, just over 10% returned, and a little bit more than 2% were rejected. So now,
and Brian,
instead of these spreadsheets,
just Brian, one more comment here. So this way of looking at the data in a more graphical way, that's just one of the very flexible analytics capabilities that Alteryx gives me. I could also look at this, of course, in plain numbers and text and export that data to really any place where I would need it.
Exactly, without the spreadsheet. So David now has a clear automated view of these expenses as well as the reports that are submitted. So you may ask why this matters, right? So now you have no more surprises at the end of the quarter. So it's early detection of the spending violations. Again, these financial teams can gain insights into the tracking rather than having to export and merge and track in Excel. And then it reduces compliance risk and improves for financial oversight. So this isn't specifically just about saving time. It's about gaining proactive financial control and reducing compliance risk. Let's go ahead and segue to the next challenge. And this will be for Mia, as we stated, more of the ESG compliant travel optimization. So Mia previously lacked the ability to deeply analyze travel patterns, this making it impossible to identify cost-saving and alternatives to meet environmental, social, and government compliance goals. So this brings up the question, where are the real opportunities to optimize travel costs and sustainability efforts? So the problem, limited insights, again, from SAP Concur. So the tool tracks travel bookings, but it lacks a deep analysis of the cost as well as CO2 emissions. It gains for a high proportion of air travel. So without this visualization that we have here, and I'll showcase in a second, the environmental and financial impact of the travel choices remain unclear when it comes to ESG. And it was incomplete data which made it difficult to establish sustainability efforts or driven policies. So as I open up, again, the browse tool to validate our configuration and look at the dashboard that we have solved, Mia now has a clear look into how her company is setting up travel arrangements. And we can see here just about 90% of it is through airfare. So again, now we are able to provide a detailed travel comparison. Mia can now see the ratio within a user-friendly dashboard and has clear insights that she can implement for not only a greener, but more cost-effective travel policy plan. So now we have full transparency into the CO2 emissions to support sustainability efforts. We now spend less time on manual data aggregation, more time spent on strategic improvements. And most importantly, Mia now has a complete visibility into the patterns. So she has now discovered that it's 90% travel by air. This insight will be viable for her to make decisions. And this newfound transparency will allow her to optimize her travel spending moving forward. All of this makes for informed decisions, and it's all backed by data, real-time data, rather than assumptions that she was operating with before. And last but not least, we're going to get into Lisa. Specifically, with Lisa is for supplier and cost management. Let me just scroll all the way down so you all can see. And with Lisa, SAP Concur captures all of her bookings in general, but without a systematic evaluation, Lisa couldn't identify opportunities for cost savings or negotiations. So which vendors are most frequently used within our company, and where is there room for negotiations is the question that Lisa's asking. So what's at stake? So the lack of supplier transparency. So SAP Concur records these transactions, but it doesn't analyze supplier usage trends. This leads to missed negotiation opportunities. Without this insight, Lisa doesn't know where to push for better rates, and which rates that she can try to validate or verify. And also, it's very time consuming with the manual reports, as she has to now identify supplier patterns, and that can also require a lot of manual work on her end to do so. So the solution, Xtract, SAP Concur, and Alteryx solves this. All of these solutions that we give with this tool will automate this process. So again, it won't be a lot of manual tasks on your side to do so. Specifically for Lisa, and the results that we can showcase is that she can now see which vendors make up the majority of the bookings that she has. As I bring up the dashboard that we have, she can now identify the vendor descriptions, the sum total of the vendors, and what are they spending per month, quarter, etc., all by filtering through our tool. So Lisa now has a clear visualization to the top five suppliers and highlights the opportunities for cost savings. Excuse me. Why this matters. Now that she's able to leverage the supplier insights, she has better negotiation power to move forward. All of this is backed by data-driven information, so decisions are based on real usage patterns, not guesswork. And the instant analytics mean no more time-consuming Excel spreadsheets for Lisa moving forward. So now that Lisa has this comprehensive supplier overview, it's no more hidden spending patterns for her. She can quickly identify that more than 40% of the hotel bookings were made, and she should be good to go. Now that her company is able to save more money, she can optimize more contracts, reducing the operational overhead, all thanks to clear, actionable insights. And that'll be the third challenge that we just went over. So as we've covered these three challenges within travel expense management and how our SAP Xtractor alongside Alteryx and the various Alteryx components can help businesses stay ahead of these financial risks, enhance ESG reporting, also optimize vendor relationships, all while reducing the manual work. So it's not just about efficiency, it's more so about empowering the financial teams to make smarter and data-driven decisions with confidence. So we all thank you for your time today. If you have any questions or want to explore next steps, please feel free to reach out.